Hey all, welcome to M Mix, the show where I interview what used to be DJ mixes. Now it's just me interviewing my friends and people that inspire me. And today we have a pretty it's a pretty special guest, honestly, considering what she's done in terms of her work in so many different mediums and so many different games. Uh, yeah, it's Cheryl Stelli.
Hello, hello, hello.
Would you want to give like a brief introduction to who you are for those who may not know?
Sure, yeah, I'm Cheryl. I'm a game designer as well as a musician on the side. I do a lot of different things, but the main thing that I do is I design, create, and write video games under my studio name Hajimeli, which is probably what you know me for.
Yep, that's
I
how.
also work on some other games. I did level design for D-Cell Games Unbeatable, as well as Anarch Entertainment's Project Godhand, and I've also done some quality assurance testing and stuff for also Anarch Entertainment's Noise Starlight and Bubble Tabby's game Beat Block.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I know you from Vivid Stasis. That's where my like where I first got into your work, and then through some other shenanigans, um, we friended each other on Discord, and now here we are.
Yeah.
Couple games later, and almost done with Vivid Stasis. We'll get to that.
Yep.
Yeah. I usually try to start these interviews with like a really goofy question, but for this one, since I'm talking with a game designer mostly, because well, all of my other guests have been just purely musicians who do like visual work for their songs. I get to ask a lot of different questions these time around, and probably the biggest thing that's been on my mind is this concept. I've talked about it with some of my friends in like VCs, but it's like no game design. I've never brought it up to like a game designer or something like that.
Mhm.
And it's the concept of players meeting the game where it's at and the game meeting the players where they're at. It's different, but it's
Mhm.
like I guess the best way to explain it, I guess in terms of a game you've worked on, is Vivid Stasis letting you make the boss song unlocks easier, or you can just straight up bypass them.
Ah,
Uh, Stuff like that. On one hand it could be used for accessibility, but on the other hand, it's like forcing the player
it
to
can dampen the intended experience, like the idea of the vision.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. Give me a sec.
Oop.
There we
Ah,
go. Okay.
bless you. It can,
Okay. Yeah, I think I get what you're talking about.
yeah. Another example that I could probably like without going into game settings is specifically about Unbeatable. It's not really related to any charts. It's more about the story mode. In the first hour, there's barely any rhythm game segments, and it
Hmm.
forces the player to be like, "Hey, yeah, if you're playing the story mode, don't expect like constant like, oh, you're going to be playing a chart every 10 minutes or so or something like that. You're there
Yeah.
for the experience, not for the thing." And I try to be the player that meets the game, not make the game meet me. And it's very it's a very nuanced thing I've discovered.
It is a very difficult thing to balance. I can't speak much on Unbeatable because I was not in charge of story direction for that game. With Vivid Stasis, it's really funny because it's actually one of the things there are some accessibility options in that game that I kind of regret adding. Um, Unlock all songs and unlock all modes in particular, I'm not pleased with the way that I implemented those because I feel like there was kind of a pressure from rhythm gamers who don't really care a lot about stories to be able to play all the stuff in the game without like the surrounding story context, and I kind of feel like I got bullied into
Yeah.
accommodating that a little bit, and I don't well, I mean, I would never do that again for any of my other games because my other games aren't free. And obviously, if you there's going to be certain content you need to pay for. I'm not letting you bypass paying for that with an accessibility thing. And if you're going to be paying for the content, you're going to get the content in the form that it's available in.
Mhm.
Uh, but with Vivid Stasis, I did like it's not like I have the power to just remove that setting if I want. I'm not going to, and I don't really think like I don't find myself wishing I could, but I do find myself regretting the fact that I caved so easily into completely breaking the intended experience of the game because like a specific subset of rhythm gamers didn't want to go through the story, which was the main reason I even made the game in the first place.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
I
and
think a big part of it, and I genuinely do believe a big reason why people complained about this in the first place is because rhythm game collaborations and other game collaborations in Vivid Stasis, the rhythm games like Figros, Roteno, even other like non-rhythm games like Sky Hour Works and Y2K 1.5, they sort of they're all categorized in the sound scan chapter. But the thing is, to unlock the sound scan chapter, you need to progress through to chapter 4 of the game, which requires about, I would say, probably 20 hours of commitment. Doing it the intended way, and so I can understand why players didn't want to play through 20 hours of a story just to play songs that they know from a game that they like. But I also think that it's the angle of like, I mean, you could just play those songs in the original games that they're from. I
yeah.
mean, with the exception of like some of the non-rhythm game ones, because those songs aren't in rhythm games. But like, I don't think anyone is downloading Vivid Stasis because they want to play the Gick songs. Although if
Hmm.
that person does exist, they're very base, and I would like to talk to them immediately.
Yeah.
Um, but I think this also isn't a problem we'll run into with future games as much because if we're gonna do collabs in the future, they'll probably just be paid DLC, so you can just buy them, and you may have to go through some kind of unlock process or like a progression mode, but you'll just buy the thing and you won't have to progress through the main story to get to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, so I feel like I probably the reason that SoundScan as a whole is locked behind Chapter 4 is because it okay, Vivid Stasis spoilers.
Yeah,
Although I feel like
I'm gonna put a
spoiler warnings for the entire interview.
yeah, no,
Um
I'm before this interview goes up, I'm gonna put like a giant warning like, hey, this interview contains
Spoilers
spoilers for
for
like a bunch of games that we'll probably end up
yeah, yeah.
discussing.
But the reason that SoundScan is locked behind Chapter 4 in Vivid Stasis is because charts and SoundScan use mind notes, and the mind notes don't appear until either the player plays Supernova or if they unlock Marinol before that. Um, and I didn't want that to spoil those surprises because I feel like that is a key part of those surprises, especially with Marinol.
Hmm.
Um, but looking back, I instead wish I had just committed to not using them in collab charts and just made the collab charts available immediately out the gate. But also then it would give the player like 40 songs at the start of the game and like 30 of them would be collabs. So I don't know. It's a balance to be had. I feel like I stumbled and also succeeded in certain different places that I've thought about with going into my future projects.
Yeah. It's definitely a hard thing to balance. I can't really say much on it because, well, I don't design games. I play through them. I've played through a lot of the collab charts. I've played through Vivid Stasis twice now, and the second time getting all the way past the final chapter. Um, and yeah, it's definitely weird to say because one of Vivid Stasis is like the thing you should play Vivid Stasis for. If not for the like rhythm game part, it's the story. But a lot
Yeah.
of people don't like. There's still a huge subset of well, I don't know if I'd call it a huge subset of rhythm gamers, but like a decent subset of like stories in rhythm games aren't really that important. Who like have that belief.
I think it's changing though.
Yeah, it is changing. There's a lot more story content in games, Project God, especially in like indies.
Yeah. Indies definitely care more. I mean, even in less than indie spaces, we have games like I mean, you can argue about how much Archaea actually wants you or like leans into its story, which I would argue it does quite a bit, but a lot of people can just skip it. But Infalsus is just straight up a story game.
Yeah, despite having the demo only having 5 songs and nothing about the card mechanic. I have thoughts about Infalsus. There, it, I
I've talked to Guy. He really wanted to include card mechanics in the demo, but it just wasn't at a state where it was ready to be shown off.
Damn. Yeah, but I have thoughts and feelings that kind of connect to the a question of like meeting the game where it's at. It I six keys with one hand is so awkward, and I can't like I don't think I've ever played a rhythm game that has that control scheme, and trying to work my hand within the control scheme is just weird. And the
I
lower
think that's the difficulty curve, though. Like that's
yeah, that is the
how
difficulty curve.
you're
Yeah.
intended to get good at it.
Yeah, you're intended to learn it, and I completely get that. But it's something for me, for me to like really enjoy a rhythm game, I have to enjoy the control scheme right off the bat. It's not
I
something I,
think another thing is that it's very we're not gonna I'm not gonna talk about Infalsus for too long since this
yeah,
isn't
this,
a Lorio interview. Um but I think the thing about Infalsus is that the control scheme is very arcade rhythm game.
yeah,
It's
it's
the most arcade rhythm game that a home rhythm game has gotten, except for maybe like I don't know, Guitar Hero because that uses a custom peripheral or some shit, or
yeah,
actually just playing like simulators for arcade games like Chunithm or Sound Voltex. But a lot of arcade rhythm games, a big point of how it all works is a lot of them require you to focus on where your hand is positioning as opposed to just having your fingers on a consistent key, like set of keys, and just using them. And Infalsus definitely channels that. I would say Project Godhand channels that as well, even if it's
yeah,
less. But um, in like if you look at Infalsus, like it's kind of one step removed from just being like a sound text kind of thing, where you have two buttons on the side, and then the four in the middle. But your hands aren't typically gonna be just statically placed. You're gonna be changing them over and over, and I think it's definitely trying to lean into that because I know that I mean Loriro has always has claimed that their goal is to bring arcade rhythm game aesthetics and um like the fun of arcade rhythm games to home
yeah,
markets. So I think it's perfectly in line with what they're doing, but
yeah.
it's definitely an adjustment.
Yeah, no, I respect the hell out of it, and I'm glad people can like it. It's just not like it's fully out of my range. The songs are
Yeah.
great though. That I will say, I have a la mode stuck in my head almost like every day. It's great.
Yeah, the songs are pretty good. I
Uh,
can't talk about my favorite Infalsa songs because they haven't been revealed yet.
um, spec on. We brought it up during well, like when we were talking about Vivid Stasis and its progression, but later this month now. It was like was recorded on the 1st of March. The last story update for Vivid Stasis comes out.
That's true, version 6.0.
How do you feel about it? Like you're already working on climbing several other mountains with your other games, but you've been working on this one for the long not I don't know if it's probably the longest time, I think.
Vivid Stasis as a whole?
I'm yeah, Vivid
I've
Stasis
been
as a
working
whole.
on it for 5 years.
Yeah.
Um, when are you planning to have this interview out by? Is the
Uh
question I need to ask before I dive into this.
I'm going to have it out next Saturday, so it'll be before the update. So don't really
All right, I won't talk much about the update then.
yeah. Don't
Um,
don't if you don't want to
the
go into specifics, don't go into specifics, but yeah.
the the thing about update 6.0 is that I kind of can't talk about what the bit with update 6.0 is because everything about it is a spoiler.
Oh.
Um, and if you don't know what that means, then you will. Um,
Yeah.
but for the content I can talk about, chapter alpha is the side story. I think people are expecting it to be like a prequel or a sequel. It's really not. It's detailing the events of one specific cycle out of like over 8,000. But um, this chapter was not in the original story plan whatsoever. Um, but I had something like some personal life events happen in spring last year, and after taking time to process all of that, I kind of came out of it with this story that I felt like I really needed to tell, like very urgently. And I was kind of like, all right, I'll bend whatever I have to get this story made. And luckily, I don't have to bend much at all because the team I work with are wonderful people, and they're very open to the ideas I have. And continuing to work on the game.
Hell yeah.
Softy in particular is doing a lot for this update that they really didn't have to do, but I really appreciate it because it'll make everything hit like a lot harder. But I kind of view 6.0 as like I don't know if the term Vivid Stasis fan disc will mean anything to you, or if you're
Fantastic.
familiar with like fan discs in general. It's kind of a thing for maybe not fan discs, like maybe drama CD would be a more apt
Oh,
comparison.
yeah.
It
Okay.
is a piece of supplementary material that does not in any way change the events of the main game, the main story, and how you like what they mean and what they are about. I mean, okay, it kind of does, but not in a way that changes the takeaways from the main story whatsoever. It doesn't recontextualize anything. But it is a piece of supplemental material that is canon, is meant to be experienced after you finish the game to elaborate on certain themes and characters and it's not really about clearing up misconceptions people have about the story, although I do hope that after this people will see Dawn as much less of a cartoonishly evil villain because that wasn't really the intent to be portrayed there. But I also wasn't really sure how to portray what I wanted to portray with that character at the time that I wrote all of chapter 5, 6, and then the ending. Um, but I think that following chapter alpha, I'm expecting a lot of Dawn apologists, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to be very interesting seeing whether this content changes people's minds, whether it backs up what they already thought about the character, or whatnot. Because I feel like it's kind of the most daring story that I've put in Vivid Stasis. There's a lot of risks I'm taking with this story to make it made, but it's like thinking about the concepts behind it. It became very clear to me immediately that this was something I had to make.
Hmm. That's really interesting. Cause like, I mean, I was one of the few that went like D1 Dawn hater. And then I like my opinion of Dawn has like slowly decreased from hating to like, oh, accepting of like what she is. And
Yeah,
I'm kind of huh.
Dawn is the idea of self-preservation taken to such an extreme that it harms people around her.
Yeah.
It's the idea of I need to care about myself, but she cares so much that it ironically makes things worse for her as the people around her like suffer at her hands because she can't think about anything other than making sure that she like stays safe and stays out of like potentially traumatic situations.
Hmm.
This doesn't really get shown as much in the story because the story is portrayed through protagonist Saturday's perspective and not Dawn's. But Chapter Alpha has a lot of moments that are portrayed through Dawn's perspective. Um, and in I won't really give any spoilers because obviously the update isn't out yet. There's kind of a scene where the veil shatters and you see what's really going on behind all of the twisted words and things that she's saying. And writing it was the second time I cried writing a Vivid Stasis script behind episode 25 in chapter 5, which was the graveyard scene.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, that is yeah.
I think it's ultimately a very hmm, I don't know whether to say this because I kind of want to temper people's expectations. Um, I'll leave it up to you to decide if you want to cut this out. Uh, I think a lot of people are expecting it to be a very dark and depressing story. It is dark, it's bittersweet, but I think it is ultimately like the most hopeful message the game has delivered, and that's including the ending of the main story, which is already extremely hopeful. So I think,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I don't think it's really easy for me to portray doom and gloom in my stories without a silver lining. Like, I think the most I'll ever be able to write is like a bittersweet ending. Um, I it's very difficult for me to write about things that are extremely bad,
Yeah.
and don't change.
Look,
But it's a skill I want to be better at.
yeah, looks at your Discord status and it's like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, that's because I'm gay.
True.
That's because I'm
Um,
gay and I love my partner a lot.
Same. That's what before the interview I was playing code names with her and great time.
Hell yeah.
Um, so speaking of girlfriends and vivid stasis, there was a Blue Sky post that you posted like a couple days ago that I
Are you gonna
really
make me talk about how Saturday isn't a lesbian again?
um it's more about the peak Yuri thing.
Ah, oh, you
That
want to get me started on this? Is
well, the
what's
thing
going
is,
on?
I agree with you here though. I'm not against it.
I know you just you're opening a can of worms.
Oh no, I'm opening a can of worms because it applies to another game that has a lot of Yuri. Well, like Yuri that's a part of the story but not important to it, but people like this is about sort
Man, Unbeatable was never supposed to be about Yuri in the first place.
yeah, it's about Unbeatable, but it's specifically about Penny and Beat and like I get that
Oh, we've talked about this in the dev chats. We've
yeah,
talked about this and how it's like completely warped like fans' perception of the game. And I can't speak for others, but for me at this point, it's basically just like, well, you know what? As long as the game is selling well, like, that's fine and all. If you're gonna twist this game into something it's not, at least get your friends to buy it so we can keep living.
oh
That's
my
not
God.
opinions not representative of
Yeah.
my employers. That's my stance on it. But that's
Yeah.
also because I don't have as much of a stake in the writing of Unbeatable since I didn't work on it as a story writer.
Yeah, no, like when I saw that tweet, well that Blue Sky post, I immediately thought of Unbeatable, and I'm like, God, because it's the same th like almost bar for bar, parallel to Vivid Stasis, where the Yuri is a part of the story and it contributes to like the plot in
It's
a
not
meaningful way.
even Yuri.
It's
This
not,
is the thing that I get hung up on. People don't know what Yuri means anymore. Yuri refers to a genre of fiction. It is a genre of fiction focusing on sapphic relationships, where that is the core point of the video game. You know what's a Yuri rhythm game? Project God
yeah,
Hand is a Yuri rhythm
I was
game.
going to bring it up too. Project Godhand is the most
Unbeatable
Yuri game of.
has arguably sapphic romance. Not really. It has like undertones of it, but it's entirely there to portray details about Sforzondo as a character. Spoilers for Unbeatable, but you knew that already.
Yeah.
Um, the like in Vivid Stasis, yes, there is sapphic romance, like very explicitly and part of the story, but it's not Yuri because the story isn't about the relationship. The relationship is about the story.
Yes, that's what like okay, the romance contributes to the plot but not in like a overbearing way. Because in Unbeatable, there's the whole plot, there's like Rest having unrequited feelings for Eve and not getting to say it before she died. That is like a plot point for Rest. And it gets brought up once, people like, it's part of the community, people like talk about it. But, they're a lot more chill about that compared to Penny's unrequited feelings for Beat, and it's like, and even then, that ship doesn't work because after Beat knows about Sforzando, she literally beats the shit out of her.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's a double-edged sword because the only reason that people are so desperate to jump to conclusions to claim to be part of shipping conversation is because we're so deprived of actually good representation in the first place.
That
That's
is
not their
true.
fault. That's not the writer's fault. It's not the fans' fault. It's just because of the way that queerness is in society. We have been trained to be able to see representation in things that it may necessarily isn't because it's because that's how we survive.
Hmm.
And it sucks that that's the case. And I wish that wasn't the case, and it's not anyone's fault that that's the case, other than obviously, capitalism and society and all that.
Yeah.
But it also is really fucking annoying to deal with.
Yeah, no, as a creative, I like uh going into my
It's
next.
annoying because it means that all of that shit about oppressing queerness worked.
Yeah, it does.
It worked, and that sucks.
Yeah, and it's a
Because I'm trying to, when I write like queer content into my work, it's a reflection of myself, and I'm like a pretty quiet, timid person. Like, I don't put myself out into the public very intentionally. Obviously, I have to have somewhat of a public profile because people expect things from me, but like, I'm not a celebrity. I don't want to be a celebrity. I don't want to be anyone's idol. There are plenty of people who want to idolize me, and I'm very quick to show them exactly the kind of person I am,
hmm.
which is the kind of person who does not take that shit. Um, and it's it's just like my work is a reflection of that. I write characters who want to live quietly and have a stable life and make enough to do the things they want to do and have the friends and the partners they want to have and you know the kind of relationships that expand out of that. But the thing is, all writing is theater. It's a play, and a play has an audience, and an audience is expected, especially in the era of the internet, to talk about things and to discuss things and to like deconstruct everything as if everything is a theme. And I mean everything is thematic obviously, but it's all to serve to paint a picture. And when you paint a picture, when there's a painting in like a gallery, most of the people who go through the exhibit aren't going to stop and look at the painting and try to like deduce exactly which paint brands and colors were used to make the painting. Like, it's about the picture that it paints as a whole, but you don't get that with game writing because everyone's trying to break everything down when you have a narrative that's this complex. And obviously some of that is because it's such a complicated narrative that has so many different moving pieces that it does ask you to understand it, but then people dig way deeper into things that aren't even like I saw hold on. I saw hold on. I'm looking
Yeah.
to see if I can find it.
This is just reminding me of
Um
like those posts that people just say sometimes of like sometimes the curtains are just blue. They don't have to add to anything greater. That's just the connection my brain is making here. Like I know it's very
when did I
oversimplified of the
talk about
point.
this? When did I talk about this with Taro? Hold on.
Um,
Um
I love how this is probably like the most deep an interview has gone.
this is it. I said while talking with my girlfriend, I think this single message actually encaptures all the ways I feel like Hajimeli's fan base has misunderstood the romance elements in Vivid Stasis. And the message is, if Erichio was built around trust yourself, what was Saturday and Allison's dynamic again? Was it being more open about your struggles? It's been a while since I've seen chapter 2. And it bugs me because it isn't about a single thing. It never is about a single thing. Love isn't about a single thing. It's like it's about everything.
Yeah.
And but when you write a story like this, every character is and it really bugs me because everyone tries to like condense all of these relationships and characters and concepts into a single idea in a game where the entire plot is about how people representing one single idea is fundamentally a bad thing.
Yeah, no, it is dumb trying to simplify concepts that like characters too. Like concepts and characters like they're more than one dimension, but due to how like social media and the internet works, we try to like simplify it down to like the base thing, especially when we're trying to get people into it or like trying to talk about it in like the broadest way
People
possible.
don't. What is the words I'm looking for here? I had it in my mind and then it left. People I'm gonna get a drink of water while I
Yeah,
try to
no.
remember what this is.
Yeah.
Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, no worries. Get your water. Yeah, I'm trying not to like oversimplify what you're trying to say because it's a very important thing, but it's very it's like infinitely nuanced in a way. Where trying to describe it in the like the most yeah, no, it's infinitely nuanced. This is really fun.
So here's the thing: people are messy.
Yeah.
Art is messy. Pictures are messy. Music is messy. Writing is messy. Mashups are messy. Like games are messy. Relationships are messy. But people always act like there's a puzzle to be solved. Like everything fits together perfectly. And like I'm like a puzzle master who's laid out all these pieces, and everyone has to figure out what each individual thing represents and how it all contributes to the overarching message. And it's not a huge puzzle. I mean, there's little puzzles. Sure, there's a lot of puzzles in Vivid Stasis, both in and outside of it. But like the overarching story isn't a puzzle to be solved. People aren't puzzles to be solved. We're messy, like fundamentally weird and like janky cobbled together pieces of like blood, skin, bones. And
Yeah.
games are messy, cobbled together pieces of code and binary and computing power and all that shit, writing art. And like everything that exists in Vivid Stasis exists to say something, but it's not to say something. It's to make you feel something.
Yeah.
And when you spend so long trying to find the logistics of it, that's how you end up in a situation like the characters in Vivid Stasis who lack humanity for most of the story. Those being the Liberator and Worldkeeper. You focus so much on one thing, you miss the forest for the trees, you miss the messiness for the cleanliness, and you start thinking that everything has to mean something.
Yeah.
But there are like everything means something because nothing means like everything.
Yeah.
It's all just it's all just different paint for the picture.
Hmm. Yeah, there's like well while you were getting your water, I said it's so hard trying to like I don't want to oversimplify making comparisons. This is an infinitely nuanced thing because every single piece of art is like infinitely nuanced. You can look at anything from so many angles. You can look at humans through so many different angles. Games, like everything can be looked at through so many angles, but you have to realize you may need to stop looking at it just in general and
You
just
want to know you want to
accept
know
it.
what isn't messy? You want to know what's synthesized like perfect made to be perfect? AI slop.
True.
That's made to be perfect. It's made to say something very specific and everything has to fit together perfectly because the machine is programmed to do that.
Yeah.
And the best thing we can do to preserve our humanity in the midst of the AI crisis. I know people keep saying the AI bubble is going to burst any minute now, but it hasn't. It hasn't, and it's still a threat, and it's still a real problem. So until it isn't a real problem anymore, I think we need to, and even after it isn't a real problem anymore, we need to be okay with things being messy.
Yeah. No, it is that's the number one thing. Like in terms of like playing games and like figuring out what to play or what to experience, I'm looking for art that is sincere and AI cannot be sincere at all. There's no like feelings of genuineness in AI because they're not pulling from any memories. They're not pulling from any feelings at all. They're just pulling from words stringed out from a guy in a chair just goofing
It
off.
is like you can say AI art is messy because it can barely generate coherent words, or I guess it can do that now, but it used to not be able to, or sometimes it generates an extra thumb, but like inherently that is not messy. That is literally synthesized to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we process it as not perfect is why imperfection matters.
Hmm.
It's our recognition of things screaming at us that this isn't right because it's not messy enough. It's not made by someone trying to learn how to draw and accidentally adding another thumb. Like these I don't know. It's messy, and somehow this question was about Yuri.
Yeah,
So I
we
don't know.
started with Yuri and it ended at AI slop.
This is gonna happen a lot in this interview. I hope you're ready for this to be like 2-3 hours long.
Yeah, no, I'm fully going in. We're only like halfway through the planned questions, and we're like slightly a bit over time. I'm expecting this hour to go like to be like an hour and 30 minutes. I'm so excited. This is I think I said this earlier. This is the deepest any interview has gone.
This happens with me. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I completely expected it to. That's why I tried to like lay away from any goofy questions. Anyways, looking at my notes, after Peak Yuri, some gamers are dumb and stupid and I want to throw bricks at them.
that's true.
Yeah, no, this is specifically looking like okay, I'm throwing shade at the Decel Discord arcade scores, well, not arcade arcade mode chat, specifically to the people who are like trying to perfect combo every song. They they drive me mad because it's like how we were talking about trying to like over like going through every perspective. It's like that for rhythm game charts, trying to perfect full combo everything. At some point, they don't. There's like a
I don't
lot.
know. I
I
think
mean,
it's a different kind of thing.
it's a very different kind of thing. Like I that the feelings feel the same, but it's definitely a different meaning, and it's definitely this is definitely just a me thing. And it's also like a connecting back to Unbeatable. Another reason why I wrote that down in my notes is because of Beatball getting mentioned in Twitter and get like that's the most unbeatable
Oh,
stuff.
oh, you're talking about rhythm game elitism. That's a
Yeah.
totally different thing.
Yeah, there's elitism, but there's also just like when I was bringing up the arcade scores chat, I was mainly thinking about like how people were complaining about the charting when it was perfectly normal, like perfectly fine charting if you're not trying to perfect full combo it.
Oh yeah, no, you get used to that. Like
Yeah,
I actually don't have much I can say about that because I have trained myself to tune that out.
that is extremely valid. No, I made a tweet. It's like if well, it wasn't related to that, but it was more related to the beatball stuff, where it's like if people like if I was rhythm game, I'll try to find the tweet so I can say it word for word.
The
But yeah,
solution is you just make a rhythm game that's not like anything else that exists. That way people can't get mad at comparing it to other things. Lmao.
true. That is yeah. No, that is.
There's no Muse Dash to Unbeatable to compare Polymorphite. That's not true. You can compare it to Ongeki, but
There's so many Ungeki likes. There was that whole full combo thread. We can talk about it. Oh, there's the tweet. People who make games are stronger than me because if someone said some ignorant shit about a clip of my game out of context, I would wish a grand piano falls on them.
oh
This,
yeah, no, you just get used to wishing grand pianos fall on everyone like behind your back. But you can't talk about it publicly because that's having an ego.
yeah, no, I get that. And then shouts out log under it's just me every day.
You just gotta like, you just gotta learn that nobody got your back except people who have understood the and like processed the exact. I've talked about this with Lena Rain.
Oh,
I've talked about this with her because she and I are friends, and I was like, how do you deal with the fact that so many eyes are on you and scrutinizing everything that you do in the public eye? And she was just like, I don't. I just like don't try to process it. Like there are people who understand that and understand what it's like to go through that, and they're just, you kind of end up just sticking around with them instead, and like, damn, it kind of is just like that.
yeah, no, that's like kind of the thing I approach with art. I don't make art to appeal to anyone other than myself, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. I'm not gonna hate on you if you don't, but if you say some ignorant shit, I will probably try to correct you at least a little bit.
I try to correct people with the exact same level of respect that they're putting into it is what I
Mm-hmm.
try to return. If someone has an actual question about something going on in the story because they misunderstood something and they want clarification, I will like talk to them about what's going on in the story and what was intended. If someone is just coming in and saying like they don't like a part of the story or like saying that you know, you've played Vivid Stasis Encore episode, right?
Yeah, I've been an Encore episode, yeah.
Yeah, like someone coming in and saying, I hated Encore episode because it depicts the Catholic Church in a bad light. I'm just like, I didn't say anything about the Catholic Church. Fuck are you talking
Yeah, what
about?
the
It says
fuck?
more about you than it does about me.
Huh?
And I think part of this is I will attribute like most of the reason I am this way not to the fact that Vivid Stasis got as big as it is, but to the fact that my work prior to Vivid Stasis was like I did some of the music for Yik.
Oh, yeah.
I had to really get used to that shit.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, nah, going like
By the way, play Yik. It's a really good game.
I will. I think I'll get to it. There's like a lot of games that are on my get to it list eventually. Like I just recently played Chicory. That was one hell of a
That
game.
game, that's one of my favorite games of all time. It's so good.
Yeah, I watched one of my friends speed runs the game. Watched it during a marathon. It was the Icebreaker marathon. Um, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta play this. And then like a couple weeks after I got into it, eh, whoa, what a game! What
Oh
a
yeah, no,
fucking
it's
game.
so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
Check out the other Wishes Unlimited games too. I've
yeah,
only the only other one I've played is Beastie Bell. But Beastie Bell is also extremely good.
yep. The same person who got me into Chicory also plays Beastie Ball and speedruns that. So I will
Nice.
there's a lot of shit I'm gonna get into. But going from someone who like only casually dabbled in the rhythm games to like fully trying to get into it along with like learning more about the game design behind it and the chart design, it just makes me like really infuriated sometimes. Like I understand a fraction of the pain like actual game designers feel when they're going and
It's
like
yeah, I mean it's less pain and it's more just like internalizing and realizing these people have no clue what they're talking about.
yeah, no,
So like why
mm,
put any stock or any
mm,
emotional stake into anything that they're saying?
that is probably the best way to
People
put
are
it.
gonna probably cancel me for saying this. I don't really give a fuck.
No, yeah, no. I knew when going into this interview, I knew it was going to be a really deep interview, and it will probably be the most controversial this podcast ever gets, or like show ever gets. And even then, I don't really care. I knew who I was inviting. I fuck with you. I like I
I
agree.
appreciate that, homie.
So now going from talking about the story and like the games, let's talk about more of the charting aspects. Um, how do you approach charting for like different games? Like, is there a real? There is a probably like a real difference between Vivid Stasis and Project God Hand and Unbeatable. But like, what's any specifics about that?
Um, Vivid Stasis is extremely easy to make charts for to start. It's very easy. You make a 4-key chart that you enjoy playing, and then you substitute certain notes with bumpers. People get mad that that's how we do charts. I don't really care. I feel like we do it in an interesting enough way that it's and it like again, gameplay not really the point of Vivid Stasis. It's
Yeah.
there, it's cool, and I'm happy with how it turned out. But it's a story game. That was what it was supposed to be the entire time. Polymorphite, that's a story game, but it also has a much more in-depth like gameplay system because I want to have this entire like thing wrapped around like character building and equipment systems and shit. Like
Mhm.
that game cares about its gameplay a lot. If I cared about Vivid Stasis' gameplay as much as I did with Polymorphite, it would not just be a 4-lane rhythm game. But I intentionally designed Vivid Stasis to be simple because the point was always the story, and I knew the story was going to take a lot of effort to get made. Um, and I mean the fact that people like playing Vivid Stasis enough to play it regularly and like aim for top scores and stuff in spite of that, that's pretty cool. I'm glad people like the game. I'm glad people enjoy. I think a lot of people enjoy the game more than I do, which is really cool to see. Um, Unbeatable it was a bit of an adjustment to get used to because charting in that game, as I believe Jeff said, and at one point I don't remember where they said this or if they even said this publicly, uh, charting in that game is prioritizing making it feel like an action game over a rhythm game. You
Mhm.
want hitting notes to feel like doing cool combos in Devil May Cry or like juggling enemies in that game or whatever. Um, and once I was told that, my entire like charting style changed completely. And That's why there's so many different kinds of notes in Unbeatable. That's why it's not really a speed focused game. If you look at my early charts, like True and Done in Love Overload, the short version is not the full version, and Forever Now Subwoofer, you can see that I
Mm,
was still charting with speed in mind and
yeah.
getting difficulty primarily from that. And as a result, those are my least favorite charts I've made for the game now because I feel like later charts, even ones that are speedier, like Bang or Familiar Brandon Liu remix or um like Afterburner, I guess. Um I feel like they at the core are more about reading difficulty and like mastering difficulty instead of just hitting the notes really fast.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with rhythm games where the thing is hitting the notes fast, as long as it's actually following the music. Cough, cough, four key customs, Osumania, Quaver, whatever. But that I feel like we're seeing a lot more rhythm games that are focused on other things, reading difficulty. Again, this is another reason I vouch for Infalsus because you really can't have stream charts in that game or note charts in that game because that's just not how the gameplay system works. Um, look at My, look at Ongeki, look at not really Chillim is very speed heavy at hires. But the thing is Vivid Stasis is pretty different from other four key games in that aspect, as we also tried to steer away from standard four key charting gimmicks, and I feel like this leads a lot of people to dismiss the charting because it isn't what they're used to, which again is a whole thing I'm used to by this point. But Unbeatable was I feel like Unbeatable was where I really fell in love with rhythm game charting. It's
Mm.
still I actually don't like charting that much anymore. Like I'm much more of a writer, does like systems designer nowadays than a chart designer. But I do like charting for games, and uh, all of this completely flips on its head with Project Godhand,
Oh.
which is actually unironically the hardest time I've ever had adapting to a rhythm game charting style.
I'm not
Um,
surprised.
but it's not in like the ways you'd expect. Like I can just make a dump chart for anything. I could make just like a complete dump chart stream of notes bullshit in Vivid Stasis and put it in like Boundary Shatter or some shit. And like all of the charts in Project Godhand are Boundary Shatter level like nonsense. But there's actually so much thought that goes into making sure you can read charts in that game enough that you can just kind of wildly flail your hands around, wildly hand wave for lack of a better word, and like just hit the charts in that game that I had to get used to because like my first drafts of charts I did for Project Godhand, they had like a bunch of like for example, it's easier to place four chords than three chords, which sounds like it shouldn't make sense. But if you place a four chord, the player can just hit the keyboard with their hand and register, whereas they have to intentionally make the effort to hit only three keys if it's a three chord. And another thing is like disconnected chords. So like if you have a note on lane one and lane three versus a note on lane one and lane two, it's going to be easier for your mind to briefly process the fact that the one with the two connected notes is a chord. And there's a lot of really minor details like that go into making Project Godhand's charts. Like a lot of the charts focus on symmetry. You don't see a lot of, and if there is a section that has wildly different things going on in each one, it's very visually different between the two lanes. Or like the two halves of the
Yeah.
playfield. It's designed to be extremely simple to read intentionally. And that was really hard to adjust to. I've had to have K-Turn review and revise my charts quite a lot. Especially with making like easy charts in that game. If you look at like the easiest difficulty, it still has really fast bursts of notes, but they're always done in like stairway patterns or
Hmm.
jack patterns or like just hitting a four chord over and over and over again. I tried to imitate that and I typed spacebar into the chat right now. Um,
No worries.
but there is a I feel like because of that game and how silly it is and how over the top it can kind of trick you into thinking the charts for it are easy to make, but like there is so much thought that goes into
Yeah,
making
no.
God Hand charts.
I'm not surprised. But again, Project God Hand 1.0 spoilers. Go play it. It's really good. Um, I knew you were like these charts were made with a lot of intention when Taro Nuke. When I streamed the game, Taro Nuke popped in chat and talked about tier. That chart
Yes.
is fucking insane. I
Yeah, it's
loved
really
it.
funny. I'm gonna beat
Um,
him up in March. I guess it is March now. I'm gonna
yeah, it
beat
is
him up
March.
in Illinois in 2 weeks.
Oh, hell yeah, have fun. But yeah, that when the tweet like Taro tweeted it's like, "Hey, I'm making a BPM gimmick for a song that I don't think I've ever seen done in a rhythm game." I when you hear that, you're like that sentence, just regardless of who said it, you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be a bit wary." When it's Taro saying that,
I thought he was joking. I thought he was exaggerating. No, that shit's too new.
yeah, no, that is the BPM 2, he called it. And I agree. The closest I've seen that gimmick done is actually in Vivid Stasis, where the lanes have individual scroll speeds, but having them,
Hmm.
it's different like in God Hand because it's different. Like the lanes can have different BPMs, not just scroll speeds, or like different
Actually,
ways.
individual notes can have different BPMs. The
Oh,
mods engine in God Hand is extremely flexible, and you have not seen everything it can do
oh
yet.
yeah, no, I'm not surprised. Again, Taro in chat when I talked about God Hand was like Act 2, they're letting me do crazy shit. Not me, but Taro speaking for him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I am so terrified. In a good way, of course.
I haven't claimed any charts for Act 2 yet. I don't think they're available to check out yet, but
Yeah.
I'll probably do stuff for that as well.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I like. I'm just gonna rant about God Hand for a second. I love that game because it's everything I love about rhythm games, just in one game. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very comedically focused, and like it's slice of life. That's like sort of my perfect story kind of vibe, where it's still very important, very impactful, but it's not like end of the world, things are gonna go insane type shit. It is more
I mean, I know it is kind of end of the world. Things
end
are
of
gonna go insane
it's
type shit.
it is end of the world, things are going to
It's
go insane, but it's not the priority because it's just like
it's end of the world. Things are gonna go insane, but this Yuri drama is more important.
exactly, and that's why I love it. And then the charting style. I love gimmicks personally. I know that's not a widely accepted opinion, but I am a
It's accepted if you know where to look.
yeah, not ITG, Vivid Stasis sometimes, Project God Hand all over that game. But yeah, I love visual gimmicks. They're like gimmicks in charts, visual gimmicks, whatever gimmicks you use, I love them, and it's fun to sight read. My personal joy is like figuring out charts to sight read and like playing new charts for the first time, whether they have gimmicks in it or not, and that being a core tenet of God Hand, along with like the simple-ish control scheme, the like comedy, it's just a perfect boiling pot of everything I love,
Yeah,
and easy recommend. But it's also if you're a fan of rhythm games and you've already played some, I don't know if I'd recommend it to you because it just does fuck with your brain a bit.
yeah.
Ah, anyways, actually, since I just kind of spoke about it, what do you value most in games in terms of like you can say we can limit it to rhythm games, or you could be like just in games in general, but like ranting about what I value. Question for you.
I value a game that cares about itself.
Ex okay, agreed, 100%.
I don't care if the game is flawed or imperfect or it has janky story pacing or it has like it doesn't stick the landing or maybe the ending's a little rushed or maybe like the gameplay could use some work or whatever. If it cares about itself, then I care about it.
Yeah, that is jumping back to another we're just bouncing off the same three games regardless just the fucking SpongeBob meme where it's the king going through like the different meals and it's just um like sponge
Genuinely, actually, I don't know that meme.
hot dog I
I
think it's
don't think I've ever seen it.
hot dog burger pizza I'm gonna oh it's not SpongeBob, it's King DDD.
Still don't think I'm familiar. I'm not very
Oh,
online.
it's hot oh okay, it's hot dog taco hamburger. I'll send the video over or like I guess the Know Your Meme page, I guess. I'm not sending you to Reddit. Um, but it's a scene in the Kirby anime where like King Dedede is flipping through the book of like meals and it's just the same three meals as hot dog, taco, hamburger, and it's just replace those with Vivid Stasis Project God Hand and Unbeatable. Because I feel the exact same way about Unbeatable because it is a very flawed game, but I love it regardless because it's so
It's
it,
very
it
earnest. It's a very earnest video game.
it's a yeah, it's a very earnest and sincere video game, and it cares about itself and the message it's trying to deliver, and that is exactly what I want out of a game. I tend to know when like games are for me, and it's usually when it's like about making art. Again, Chicory or Unbeatable do more of it's more of the creative process in Unbeatable than like an actual general art form. You know,
Hmm.
make but yeah, I it seems whenever like a game or piece of art is about making art, it usually lands in that sincerity and honesty, even if it's not entirely perfect.
Hmm.
Ah. And now we're kind of the last two questions I have in terms of like the planned stuff are more I guess one's a fun question, one's a more of like an interesting question that I don't know if you'll have an answer for.
Sure.
I'll shoot the one that you may not have an answer for, and it's the rise of Core and Hyperflip sound design in indie rhythm game music. Because it's something I've noticed starting in like 2020, 2021, where a mix of like in the sound design from that genre is seeping into in the indie rhythm games. Like I hear fucking the car crash siren noise and like staples of that like genre.
Well, I think what we're seeing is it's a new generation of composers who have an interest in a lot of things, including rhythm games, but also a lot of other genres and sources, taking inspiration from all of these things that they consume and are inspired like inspired by and want to kind of channel into their own work. And this is also the rising class of rhythm game composers that are being picked up by other games. So you're kind of just seeing a like taking from the culture and then giving it back kind of thing,
Yeah,
I feel.
that makes sense.
Um as for me, I just whenever we do open song submissions or song contests, we just look through like the songs and pick whatever seems like it fits the game or whatever I like listening to. I think I have a pretty diverse music taste, so I feel like we're able to kind of have quite a bit of diversity in terms of which styles are on display in our games.
Hmm, yeah, that's pretty succinct and kind of I probably could have come to that conclusion on my own because it's just but you know, fun to ask.
Yep.
And the final planned question before we get into like the ending stuff that I ask everybody is what is your Mount Rushmore of rhythm games, or if you want to be even more specific, rhythm game charts? Since
Mount Rush. I'm not American.
Mount Rushmore, that's a monument in well like historical it's probably not a historical landmark, but it's a monument in America with four presidents. So it's just like four charts.
Oh, oh, so like things that are like
Very
what
like
we consider important and like formulative or whatever.
yeah, but it when I
Like to the genre or like to my own
to you
tastes.
that is when I developed the
Right. So you're
question.
just asking me like what my favorite rhythm game charts are.
Favorite rhythm game charts are, or like, is it charts that like impact you in terms of your own charting? That's not your own stuff.
Uh,
Like foundational to you, not the
I
scene
don't know
at
if I can
large.
give things something as specific as charts. Rhythm games in general, though.
Yeah, you can do games in general.
Um, would not be where I am without Stepmania
Yeah.
playing just like official DDR charts just on my keyboard. Um, would not be where I am without Archaea. Uh, I keep saying that if I would like bend my own schedule if it meant being able to do something with Archaea. Um, not I would not be like making rhythm games without Archaea. And I would say those are my past. And My is my favorite like rhythm game at the moment. I would say either My or Ongeki. I'll cut them in half and sew them back together to make a spot on Mount Rushmore for both of them.
That works.
Um, and
The fade out there.
I don't know. Mount Rushmore has three now.
Well, you could also separate. You could undo what you did to Ungeki and My Mai and put them both up there as full.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they deserve to take up half of Mount Rushmore, but a third is fine.
True. This kind of reminds me. Perform I was
Noise Starlight. Noise
Oh,
Starlight.
yeah. No, that would be yeah. That would
Noise
make sense.
Starlight for being a game that also cares a lot about being a game instead of just a rhythm game.
Hell yeah.
There
Uh,
you go. That's Mount. I couldn't think of anything. It's
Mount
Mount Rushmore.
Cherylmore.
No, sounds sounds like a RPG spell like evolution.
Hmm.
Like you have a skill called Rush, and it's just like attacks all enemies for basic physical damage, and then you have Rush More, and it deals more damage.
That.
Play Mysticade when that comes out. People
Hmm.
think my bag is rhythm games because that's my main thing right now. And no, man, my bag has always been RPG design. I was doing that for years before I got into rhythm games.
I
Play
mean,
Mysticade.
cough, cough. Vivid stasis. There's hints of it.
Vivid Stasis doesn't have an RPG. It has Tamasachi, I guess.
Yeah, it has Tamasachi.
Polymorphite is more of an RPG.
It has Tamasachi, and I was more referring to like the walking around in terms of between space.
Well, that's not RPG. That's like I'm talking about like gameplay combat systems and
Yeah,
stuff.
fair enough. Got mixed up there. Uh, Speaking of back to Ongeki and Mai Mai. Before Mai was last night.
It
I didn't.
was, yeah.
I did not stay up to watch all of it because it was extremely late. But I did watch a bit of Mai Mai and I watched a bit of Ongeki. It is wild seeing
Yeah,
high level arcade play. I I do not know how to react. I mean, I do know how to react, and it's just in awe because I don't have access to um that sort of like I don't
I'm
have
good enough at Mai and Ongeki where I was able to like look at what was going on in the new tiebreakers and like break down which parts of the chart were harder and which ones weren't. So yeah, it's fun.
It is fun. There was this one My My song, the one of the one of the reveals. I forgot.
Seven
It's
Wonders,
not Seven Wonders. It was the other one. That one
Break the
has
Speakers.
Break the Speakers had such interesting lyrics. Like it's a great song. I love it.
Oh yeah, no, push somebody.
Push somebody.
We are going base mode.
Great, amazing lyrics. It reminds me of fucking that one DJ Max song that was it's this there's this one DJ Max song that's been stuck in my head because it's so dumb, but I love it. It was in the base track list for Respect V. I'm trying to find it. Um I think it was God, I have it in my liked videos. I'm gonna look for it real quick. I promise
You
you I'm
ever
not
you ever hear about the Waka song that has in the house cut like carpet sample?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, a lot of rhythm game composers reference that sample CD.
That is awesome. I'm trying to find it because it's like oh wait, hold on. No, I know where to look. I mean a presentation for Unbeatable Chord, which is nearly hitting 1,000 members. I am scared. It'll like I would not be surprised after this interview I go check. Up there it is. Rockstar by Mr. Funky. This song is so bad it's good in my eyes.
Is it one of those like really early
Yeah,
like
it's
90s era
it's
kind
not
of
it's not 90s area. It reminds me of LMFAO.
Oh wait, okay, hold on. I gotta see this.
This song is so dumb. I love it, and the lyrics doesn't
All right.
they
Live reaction. Are
a
you ready
live
for this?
reaction. Yes, I do not have. I'm not gonna turn OBS on, but I will play the music at the same time you do.
Oh my god.
It's awesome, right?
Wait, it's a banger.
It is a banger. I love it.
This music video is this is the dance music video from Justice.
Oh my god, you're right.
The with all like the logos. That's what I was thinking of.
That's oh my god, yeah, you're right. Uh
Pre-order what?
oh.
Hyper drama. It's already out, man.
So yeah,
Anyway,
great song, am I right?
yeah, no, it's that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So now we've kind of hit the end of the interview. I have this like a series of questions I ask everybody. There's an extra question I added on with Aerith last time that I'm gonna ask you. If there's any questions you want to ask me, feel free to do so. That is the question, I guess.
Um, Off rip, favorite song in Unbeatable Arcade Mode.
Ooh, oh, okay. Favorite song in arcade, in terms of like playing, Dial Tone.
Okay,
I dial
good
di
pick.
dial tone playing that solo on Unbeatable is heavenly. I cannot describe the feeling I get when I hit that. Like, ugh,
Yeah.
getting that
Okay.
full combo is a thing I'm proud of. Like, it's not even like in the top 10 hardest charts in the game, but it
It's
means
pretty
something to
long.
me. It is pretty long. It's the second longest song in the game.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Speaking of solos, Retuned Star Chart, huh?
I made that one. Yes.
Yeah, you made that one. Uh,
I'm happy with how it came out. I think it's pretty fun.
yeah, as a star chart, it does what it needs to. Like, I think I've said it not to like you or like any of the unbeatable devs, but I view star charts as the way for the devs to get absolutely silly.
Um,
Like,
Kind of yes, kind of no. I
kind of
mean, with a
no.
few charts, it was just I made something really hard that didn't feel right being on it. Like, and On has a star chart for that reason. That was originally the unbeatable chart, but I just felt like it was way too hard for unbeatable difficulty, so we made it a star chart instead.
Yeah.
Um,
No. When
and
I
actually, it was the same thing with Retuned. That was the first chart I made was
that,
the star chart.
that with that solo, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. When I mean
It was the first chart I made, and then I made the lower difficulties, and then I wanted to change the star chart, but it was too late before the game came out, so we just nixed the star chart from the initial game entirely, and then I touched it up, and then that got released as the update.
okay, I see. When I was referring to like star charts being like the devs getting silly, I mean beyond the two like different types of charts I see is really goofy charts and charts that push the difficulty beyond like what unbeatable is.
Yeah.
And
Um, the original version of Retune was actually a 25, but it didn't feel right for the first story mode song to have a 25 star, as funny as it would have been, but
hmm,
so we nerfed it a bit.
yeah, no, that's fair. Uh, that's what initially spawned the whole like some gamers are dumb and stupid and I want to throw a brick at them comment.
Oh yeah,
Thing.
no, I heard people don't like the chart. That's funny.
Yeah, no, the main hookup with that chart is the ending, that solo being
Yeah, well,
very
they would fucking die playing any my chart.
yeah, the solo at the end being very hard compared to like the rest of the chart itself. Like the rest of the chart very playable. Well, in terms of my opinion, I think the solo is fine. It's what a star chart is meant to be, like really
The
hard.
solo is actually like really easy if you like practice the like if you look at what the patterns of the notes are. Like
And I
if you play
agree.
it like a stair, like you have although I forgot that the default controls for the game are like
DFJK.
yeah, but like D and K and then F and J or some shit
Oh,
like that.
Yeah.
I play with ZX as top row and dot slash as bottom row.
I play on a
Um,
fight pad.
that's awesome. But like if you do it like that, then that solo is literally just 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 because it's two top notes and then a bottom note and then it gets reversed. So it's 4 3 2 4 3 2 4 3 2. Like that patterning is very simple, but it seems so overwhelming reading.
Yeah, no, the thing is, I agree. It's like it is the same pattern as the dial tone solo.
I
Well,
actually unironically think the unbeatable chart for that is harder because it has a gap in between the notes in that solo.
yeah, that's the main
Because
hookup.
it's not you don't go but but you go but and you have to switch in the middle of that and it feels a little hard but
Yeah, the
oh well
switch.
that's how it came out.
Yeah, no. That and with the switch and everything, that it's the same kind of like not the same pattern at least, but it's the same sort of rhythm of like two top notes and a bottom note. Or like the two basically two of the same
Yeah,
note then the alternating note. Dial tone has it. So if you just
yeah,
learn dial tone, you learn that solo. And I don't know, like I get why people are like frustrated because it's like learning that section specifically at the end of the song being the solo and that's the make or break part of it. I get it, but also like not to oversimplify it, but just get good.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
really care if people don't like the chart.
Yeah, that's fair. Again,
And I made it because I thought it was fun and I do think it's fun. So like
yeah. Oh,
whatever.
yeah. That was a bit of a side tangent. In terms of, I guess, kind of, shit, I forgot. Okay, what have you been listening to, or what have you been?
Um,
If you want to put it back to games, what have you been playing recently?
I'll do both.
Okay, hell yeah.
Been playing a lot of Beat Block. Um, I'm on the team for that as the person who assigns numbers to songs now.
Yeah,
Um, and other than that, I've been getting into back into balloons lately.
balloons. Oh, we gotta run some
Yeah,
sometime.
balloons TD6 because I played a lot of Five on my iPod Touch when I was like a preteen, but I never really got into Six, so I've been playing some Six. Um, what else? I had to play God through all of God Hand Act 1 5 times the other day.
5 times?
Yeah, because it kept deleting my save, and we had to figure out why it was doing that.
Oh no,
Um,
I only had one issue where it couldn't let me get through a story cutscene. And I just had to close and reopen the game.
I played the new Paranorma site. Very good game. Um, I'm looking forward to Danganronpa 2x2, and like I think people will be surprised if they like to know that I don't really play a lot of rhythm games in my spare time. I play a lot of other kinds of games.
Well,
Um,
that's fair. Inspiration for me, inspiration comes from places that I'm not listening to already.
mhm. I
So makes
mean,
sense.
I'm always trying to bring new ideas to the table, and I feel like the best place to get new ideas is outside of the genre. So,
Yeah.
um, what else? I played a bunch of the demos in Steam Next Fest. Those are pretty cool. Obviously check out Impulsus, check out Dense Attack, check out Cicada Mata.
Check out the Loopler.
Um,
God,
oh yeah, check out the Loopler.
I've sunk in like 4 hours into that game already. I blame you for cursing me with the knowledge that that game
It's
exists.
pretty good.
It is good.
I'm not really one for like Balatro likes for lack of a better term, since I feel like that's kind of become stale. But I got interested in the Loopler. It's a fun gameplay loop. Haha, literally.
Yeah, no.
Um, what else? Uh, what have I been listening to?
Yeah.
I've been listening to some Madonna lately.
Ooh.
Shoutouts Vogue, shoutouts 4 Minutes, shoutouts Hung Up, kind of her popular hits.
Yeah.
I've been listening to that Daft Punk Justice mashup album that you recommended
It
quite a
is.
bit.
Ooh, yeah, it is really good.
It's very good. I listened to it through the first time with my friend who's French and really likes both of those like duos. So we
S-
enjoyed it a lot, and I've just kind of been listening to it since then.
Speaking of Daft Punk, did you see that like Thomas Bangalter went back to back with Fred again? I'm so pissed.
Oh, I didn't see that now.
No, yeah,
I'm not that tapped in.
for that last USB 2 show, The only like he for the last 10 residencies, he's been having these like giant lineups with so many people. And then
Oh
for the
wow,
last show, it's just Thomas Bangalter and him.
that's awesome.
It
I
is it,
listened to I listened to the new Nina Girachi album from last year.
oh yeah.
Um, I'm kind of sad I didn't listen to it sooner because she was touring in Vancouver in September last year, and I didn't go because I hadn't listened to her stuff yet.
Damn.
But oh well.
That'll be next time.
I'm excited for that new underscores.
Yeah. The fact that it's being not like it's 9 songs is a bit I would say it's a bit worrying, but considering what she's released and like part of the Galleria era, I'm not like she nearly has more song. I think she has more songs in that era right now if you like than Wall Socket, and there's not even an
If you
album out.
count, if
If
you
you
count like yeah, Point A and
Point A
What
in
a
the
Girl Gotta
remixes,
Do.
there's the going off of that number. It was a playlist on Spotify, um where she has all the songs in the era, and it's got Point A, all that.
Oh, really? She that exists? I didn't.
Yeah, I
Is
can
that counting the songs with Danny Brown?
Yeah, it is counting the songs with Danny Brown.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I can uh share, copy link to playlist. Yeah, basically anything she's featured on since Stupid. Not counting Harvest Sky though. That's the one thing I'm very confused about. I think Harvest Sky fits into Galleria more than Wall Socket, but
Hmm.
it's not in there.
Yeah, I'm excited for the album. I'm excited for the new Madeon album, but we don't know when that's coming. So.
Yeah, no, I all my Madeon friends have just been like, make a move, French boy, please.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. And I guess the final question for you, people you want to shout out, whether they be musicians, games, just anything you want to put a spotlight on.
Um, Obviously everyone I work with, both in Hajimeli and out. I like shoutouts D-Cell Games, shoutouts Anarch Entertainment, shoutouts everyone involved at Hajimeli, of course. Shoutouts to my friends who aren't directly involved with my stuff but are huge supporters like you. Shoutouts to Kotaru Uchikoshi. Shoutouts to I'm trying to think. I don't know. Shoutouts to a lot of people who have inspired me. Shoutouts to myself
True.
for being cool.
Oh, I just I just realized I missed a question.
Oh wait, okay, yeah, no, let's double back. Let's go.
Let's double back because
It's the encore, baby.
it's the encore. It's the question that it's like I think I've asked you this multiple times or like phrased it in so many different ways. How the fuck do you manage your time so wisely? Or like if you don't, just how do you?
Uh well, my sleep schedule is practically non-existent, and I am practically propped up by energy drinks.
Jesus.
Um, uh, let's see. I sleep when I get tired, and I wake up whenever I wake up. Sometimes I wake up at like 10 p.m.
Oh,
and that's just I'm gonna be awake for the next 12 hours. Um, but outside of all of that, it's just I blend a lot of my work and my personal life. I'm always working whenever I'm hanging out with friends because it's easier for me to work in situations like that. Shoutouts to Jamie who has like a kind of series of constant game playthroughs going that I'm always in our friend group that I'm always tuned into because it helps me work. Um, and I just kind of I'm always trying to basically it sounds stupid and simple, but I just do what I feel like doing when I feel like doing it. And that's why I have so many projects, because if I get bored of working on Polymorphite, which hasn't happened recently because I've been on fire with working on that game,
Yeah.
I'll just think, hey, I want to work on Mysticade instead. I go and work on Mysticade for a bit. Some days I'm like, okay, I gotta get stuff done, so I'll kind of lock in and work on stuff that I actually have to get done, like Vivid Stasis 6.0 stuff. But most of the time, I'm kind of just doing me.
That
And I want to stress that this isn't really a fully sustainable lifestyle. I'm extremely lucky to be living with my father, who is extremely supportive of me and my endeavors, and helps keep me alive and fed and a roof over my head and all of that. And I'm trying to get to a point where I'm fully self sufficient, but I'm not right now. And I feel like when I do get to that point, some things will have to change. But it's all a product of the environment that you surround yourself in, physically, mentally, and I've been very lucky to be granted the privilege and permission to kind of do my own thing at my own pace so far. And I think I'm grateful that I'm setting myself up in a way that I will always at least be able to carry a bit of that energy going forward, even if I have to structurally change some things to, be a better team leader, or to be a better like game designer, or even just to be kinder to myself in terms of my mental health and stuff. So, it is just being very intrinsically aware of how I'm feeling at any given moment, sometimes to my own detriment, because I always know exactly how I'm feeling and all of the intensity that brings with it. So it's kind of just about manage like, there's no other way I can really say. I mean, aside from everything I just said, there's no other way I can really say I manage my time other than I just kind of do it.
no,
Like it just kind of happens.
that is the clearest answer I think I've heard. No, I will stop pestering with you with that question because I think you've answered it succinctly. I get it. It's like there's that again tapping to a meme image. It's that drawing of a guy bouncing off the like his main project and then like the side projects. But for you, it's just bouncing off whatever's next.
And the thing is, I think I'm at a point where I'm getting very good at actually visualizing those ideas. Because, I used to be starting project after project after project and never finishing anything. Like, I'm sure I have on really old computers. I have like a dozen RPG Maker projects that literally only have like a cool game title I thought up and like a default room. But we're spending so many years solely working on Vivid Stasis very much trained me in the art of managing my time between like ideas and how to manage scope, especially with Vivid Stasis, where the scope got way out of hand of what it was actually originally intended to be. But I was very committed to seeing that vision through, so it came out anyway. It's very just like it's just a skill that comes with being a better creative, as you learn how you learn it, and it's not even creative. It's just about being a a better you. As you become more intimately aware of your boundaries, you become more intimately aware of your limits, you become more intimately aware of how fast you burn through your energy, what things you want to focus on at what times. I mean, it just kind of it becomes a part of your routine, is just accepting the, like I said way earlier, the inherent messiness of it all.
Hmm. That
And also accepting that what that leads to is works and projects that sometimes might not be for everyone. And I'm totally okay with that.
yeah, no, that is yeah. I agree. The way I wish I could phrase my words, but it's like almost midnight for me, so it's just we're getting to the point of like I'm just getting tired. But thankfully, we are
Yeah, I'm also tired and my elbow still hurts. So like,
yeah. They have no context to why your elbow hurts. It's just
oh yeah, you didn't start the recording after. Oh yeah, I slipped on the pool deck earlier and hurt my elbow.
yeah, unfortunate, but it's fine.
Yeah. Well,
Again,
no, it hurts.
well, it hurts, but
I mean, I'm not like bleeding out in real. I'm not like on my deathbed giving this interview, so I guess it is fine. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm gonna die in like 10 minutes, and no one will ever know why.
Do I have permission to publish this if you do die, so people know that you died from an elbow?
Dude, post mortem. That's crazy.
Postmortem interview. Ah,
Cheryl's first posthumous release, and it's an interview with MP.
God, that would be an insane way to announce you're just dead. Ah, but again, all jokes aside, thank you. This was I I don't want to say favorite or like I am gonna say favorite even though I don't want to. This has been my favorite interview I've done so far. This is the most
I think I lend
rambly.
myself well to being interviewed. I really like talking about things.
Yeah, no. You
So it's always nice to be interviewed and give my perspective on things. Like I spent a lot of time growing up on Twitter, which bad decision.
don't.
Um, but as a result, I developed a very opinionated lifestyle that I had to kind of root out and notice the ways that it was hurting me. But I've something I've always kept is that I really love talking about things that I have opinions on, and I don't really like giving negative opinions on things anymore because I feel like that's not really productive or constructive to my time. Like I really just don't have time to be a hater.
Yeah.
Uh and I like that's probably the most Cheryl thing that I've said this entire interview. But I like talking about things I like, and I do, even if when I like talking about things I don't like or things that bug me, I like providing a unique and nuanced perspective on all of that, and why it might be that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like talking with people like you who are very knowledgeable of why they do or do not like something or their opinions, and it lends well to in an interview to, so I can ask very deep questions, or I can like throw you a shit post question and we end up talking for like 20 minutes. That's the
Yep.
beauty of these things. But yeah, genuinely, this has probably been the most deepest and again, I will say most fun an interview has ever been for me. So again, thank you. And with that,
Yep. Step your game up, other interviewees. Chop chop.
chop chop, get more thoughtful, please. No, no, seriously, it's you don't have to.
Get you don't have to. It's actually probably better if you don't go through the things I went through that got me here.
Ah, and
Traumatized girls make the best video games.
uh,
Or RJ Lake.
or
I
RJ
don't think
like
he's a traumatized girl.
I but before I end the like recording, I need to know what RJ was thinking when he wrote the dialogue. Because how did he make the most Yuri full game? Well, again, don't want to preface Unbeatable is not Yuri. Well, yeah, Unbeatable is not Yuri. There's just a lot of lesbianism in it, and I need to know how he did it. Because
Well, I mean, it's because it doesn't care about being like a story about lesbians.
true, yeah, that
It's all about like a larger picture, and the characters that were used to express this like particular theme of like how everything kind of ties together were both women, and that because they're both women, for a lot of people that sadly eclipses what's actually being represented and showed in the story through that relationship and that character.
yeah, no, that
That
is that nah, yeah, no, that makes sense. It wouldn't matter if they were
yeah,
women or if they were.
as much as I also do vouch for the fact that characters and relationships can't be like simplified down to it like a single concept. They're still written for a reason. They're written to express something. They're written to make you feel something. And a lot of people kind of, I feel, miss that feeling because of the fact that they both happen to be women,
Yeah,
and that makes me sad for a few reasons. But we already talked about that, so
yeah. Just rewind if you want to act, get back into
yeah.
it. But
Rewind if you want if you want the Cheryl Stelli Yuri crash out.
uh, all right. Again, thank you. And thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful whatever time it is for y'all.
Play Vivid
See ya.
Stasis.
Play Vivid Stasis. Play Unbeatable. Play indie
Play
rhythm game.
Unbeatable. Play Project Godhand. Play Yika Postmodern RPG.
Play games. Just not the bad ones.